The treasuries of Buckingham Palace house thousands of jewels, each capable of dazzling with its magnificence. Yet among this kaleidoscope of luxury existed pieces that never captured the heart of one of history's most stylish monarchs. Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. What could displease about perfectly cut diamonds? How could one reject shimmering amethysts or pearls of ideal form? The answer lies in the subtle psychology of royal style, where each piece carries not only aesthetic, but profound symbolic weight. Before we begin, please share your city in the comments. We're curious where admirers of royal luxury live, and if you like and subscribe, that would be the greatest reward for our small channel. Queen Elizabeth II possessed a remarkably developed sense of style, shaped by decades of public appearances. Her jewelry preferences reflected not mere personal taste, but understanding of what image the British crown should convey. Elegance over showiness, dignity above drama. These were Her Majesty's unspoken principles. Through 70 years of reign, the monarch developed her own philosophy of royal style. She intuitively understood jewelry should enhance the crown's majesty, not distract from it. Some gems, despite their historical value and flawless craftsmanship, seemed too bold, inappropriate, or simply uncomfortable for royal duties. These rejected treasures tell us a fascinating story about how true aristocratic taste forms, where compromise is unacceptable and every detail must serve the higher purpose, creating the perfect image of British monarchy. But the Queen's first disappointment involved a color that, in her mind, too clearly reminded of grief and loss. Deep purple amethyst shades captivate with their mystical beauty. Yet for Queen Elizabeth II, these stones carried too heavy an emotional burden. The Kent Amethyst Parure, one of the most impressive sets in the royal collection, became a symbol of internal conflict between historical significance and the monarch's personal feelings. This magnificent set, including a necklace, earrings, 3 brooches, and hair combs, embodied all the solemnity of the Victorian era. Gold settings with scattered diamonds created the perfect backdrop for deep purple amethysts. Every element was crafted with jewelry perfection worthy of imperial courts. This set's history reaches back to the first half of the 19th century, when the Duchess of Kent, Queen Victoria's mother, first appeared wearing these gems in formal portraits. Amethysts then symbolized spirituality and royal dignity, their deep color associated with wisdom and inner strength. Queen Alexandra in 1902 demonstrated how to wear the amethyst necklace with truly royal magnificence. Later, the Queen Mother, Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, carefully revived individual elements during wartime years as if drawing strength from their ancient symbolism. However, for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, amethysts carry different, more troubling symbolism. In her perception, these stones too clearly associated with mourning and losses. Particularly painful were memories of the amethyst tiara once worn by her grandmother, Queen Mary. Perhaps these associations with past losses made the young queen instinctively avoid purple stones. The only time Her Majesty wore the complete set was during a state visit to Portugal in 1984. This appearance could be called diplomatic necessity. The occasion's solemnity required appropriate jewelry. Yet even in official photographs from that evening, one notices the Queen appeared somewhat constrained, as if these gems didn't reflect her inner state. Notably, from the entire parure, the Queen occasionally chose only one simple brooch without pendants. This element seemed sufficiently restrained to her, lacking the dramatic solemnity of the rest of the set. Perhaps this showed her intuitive wisdom, using amethyst's beauty but in minimal doses, not allowing the stone to dominate her image. However, the problem wasn't only color symbolism. Some pieces created physical discomfort, literally constraining the royal neck. Pearls have always been considered the queen of precious gems, symbols of purity and elegance. Yet the Japanese pearl set from the 70s became a true test for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, between diplomatic duty and personal comfort. Created by the legendary House of Gerard, this set appeared as a diplomatic gift from the Japanese government. 4 strands of flawless pearls connected by an elegant diamond clasp formed a choker that should have become the collection's crown jewel. An elegant bracelet and matching style accompanied it. At first glance, this set embodied everything the Queen valued in jewelry: classic beauty, impeccable quality, and diplomatic significance. The pearls possessed that special mother-of-pearl radiance only nature can provide, while diamond elements added necessary solemnity. However, the choker's form became the stumbling block. Queen Elizabeth II always preferred long pearl strands or triple rows that gracefully lay on the décolletage without creating feelings of constraint. The choker, tightly encircling the neck, fundamentally changed the silhouette. It visually shortened the neckline and conflicted with high dress collars Her Majesty so loved. Moreover, the Queen's memory still held fresh recollections of how Princess Diana once used a royal emerald choker as a headband. This bold experiment by the young princess reportedly didn't earn Her Majesty's approval. Perhaps after this incident, all chokers in the royal collection became associated with excessive theatricality. The Japanese set's rare appearances in official chronicles look more like diplomatic duty fulfillment. In Bangladesh in 1983, the Queen wore the choker combined with the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, creating an image of flawless solemnity. A year later in Canada, the set again appeared at official events, yet even during these rare outings, one notices the Queen seemed to be trying on someone else's style. Her natural grace somewhat diminished under the unusual ornament's weight, while her usual confident movements became more restrained. The Japanese set's fate changed dramatically with Catherine, Princess of Wales's arrival in the royal family. The young princess not only wears these pieces effortlessly, but transforms them into an organic part of her style. From the Windsor Castle Jubilee dinner to Queen Elizabeth's own state funeral, the Princess of Wales demonstrates how the same jewelry can sound completely different on different women. Perhaps the secret lies in each royal family generation carrying its era's spirit, and what seemed uncomfortable to one epoch becomes the perfect expression of the next. But the problem wasn't only chokers. Some tiaras proved too daring for Her Majesty's conservative taste. In the royal tiara world exist works that astound with their technical virtuosity, yet remain alien to traditional monarchy's spirit. The 5 Aquamarine Tiara became precisely such a paradox in Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's collection. Flawless in execution, but too avant-garde for classical royal taste. 5 oval aquamarines framed by diamond ribbons and bows created a composition of striking dynamism. Each stone seemed to float in air, supported by elegant platinum constructions. The tiara's design resembled a mid-20th-century jewelry artwork, more than a traditional royal ornament. Precisely in this modernity lay the problem. Queen Elizabeth II always gravitated toward jewelry with deep historical lineage, where each element carried generational memory. Her beloved Brazilian Aquamarine Tiara embodied exactly such continuity, majestic, balanced, filled with monarchy's eternal symbolism. The 5 Aquamarine Tiara appeared almost theatrical compared to classical royal diadems. Its geometric forms and rhythmic stone placement created impressions of stage jewelry rather than ornaments for Buckingham Palace receptions. This tiara's origin mystery only worsened the situation. Unlike most royal pieces, whose histories trace through centuries, this diadem appeared in the collection without clear lineage. Unknown who commissioned it when it entered royal treasuries, and even its aquamarine's origins remain mysterious. For a monarch who valued traditions above all, such uncertainty was unacceptable. The tiara's only public appearance occurred in 1970 during Her Majesty's Canadian tour. At a Yellowknife banquet, the Queen demonstrated how this unusual ornament could look combined with formal evening wear. Yet even in official photographs, one notices the tiara doesn't harmonize with the Queen's natural elegance. After that memorable evening, the tiara vanished from the royal wardrobe for over 4 decades. Only when new generation representatives appeared in the family did this piece receive a second chance at life. Sophie, Countess of Wessex, first dared return the tiara to royal events. At Luxembourg and Swedish weddings in 2012 and 2013, she demonstrated how youth and fresh perception can revive a forgotten treasure. Later, the Duchess of Edinburgh and Queen Camilla joined her, each finding their own way to interpret this complex ornament. Perhaps the secret lies in contemporary princesses growing up in an era when jewelry boldness became not a flaw, but a virtue. Meanwhile, the treasury held another legacy, saturated with Russian history's drama and revolutionary upheavals. In royal jewelry annals, few pieces carry such tragic history's weight as Empress Maria Feodorovna's choker. 4 rows of flawless pearls connected by 20 diamond links and crowned by an angular sapphire diamond clasp tell the story of empire's fall and treasure salvation in revolutionary turmoil. This choker embodied all the Russian imperial court's magnificence from the late 19th century. Its geometric severity and monumentality reflected an era's aesthetics when luxury should demonstrate dynastic power's unshakability. The sapphire clasp, which could transform into bracelets, testified to court jewelers' highest mastery. However, for Queen Elizabeth II, this ornament represented everything she didn't accept in jewelry art. Chokers always seemed archaic to her, limiting movement freedom and creating excessive theatrical effect. In her understanding, a modern monarch should appear approachable and natural, while a massive necklace around the neck created feelings of inaccessibility and detachment. This piece's history reads like a dramatic novel. Empress Maria Feodorovna, born Princess Dagmar of Denmark, wore it during the Russian Empire's best times. 1890s photographs captured her surrounded by sisters, where the choker shone as a symbol of imperial power and family unity. When revolutionary storms struck Russia, this choker became one of few treasures the Empress managed to take from the country. Until her passing in 1928, Maria Feodorovna kept it as the last connection to a lost world. Queen Mary, always showing special attention to dynastic gems, acquired the choker for £6,000 sterling, an astronomical sum for those times. In the 30s, she occasionally appeared wearing this ornament, as if paying tribute to the fallen empire's memory. When in 1953 the choker passed to Queen Elizabeth II, its fate changed dramatically. Her Majesty wore it only once, after which the piece practically disappeared from view. Perhaps the Queen intuitively felt this ornament belonged to another era, another understanding of royal dignity. The choker found true second life through Princess Anne. Unlike her mother, the royal daughter appreciated this ornament's dramatic power. At her 50th birthday celebrations and the gala dinner before Prince William's wedding, Princess Anne demonstrated how a historical piece could become part of contemporary royal style. Perhaps Princess Anne, growing up in a freer era, could see in the choker not a symbol of restrictions, but evidence of historical continuity. For her, this ornament became a way to honor the memory of those who wore the crown in more difficult times. But size mattered not only for chokers. Some brooches proved too grandiose even for royal ceremonies. In the royal jewelry world exists a fine line between majesty and cumbersomeness. Queen Victoria's wheat ear brooches, 3 matching pairs of diamond wheat ears, became a vivid example of how historical significance might not align with practical convenience in the modern royal wardrobe. Each brooch represented a jewelry miniature of incredible complexity. Countless tiny diamonds were skillfully set to create the illusion of real wheat ears shimmering in chandelier light. The work by Rundell and Bridge jewelers reached technical perfection heights, every detail calculated with mathematical precision. Wheat ear symbolism runs deep in European monarchical tradition. Wheat represents land's fertility, people's prosperity, and rulers' wisdom, ensuring subjects' well-being. For Queen Victoria, these brooches weren't mere ornaments, but manifestos of her understanding of royal obligations. Their creation history reaches back to 1830 when King William IV commissioned them for Queen Adelaide. Diamonds for this set came from family collections, giving the brooches special dynastic value. Each pair was intended for specific ceremonial occasions, from state receptions to family celebrations. Queen Victoria transformed these brooches into an integral attribute of her official image. In portraits and photographs of that era, we see how skillfully she integrated them into her ensembles, creating compositions of striking harmony. Brooches adorned bodices, secured order ribbons, or became elements of complex hairstyles. After Queen Victoria's passing, the brooches passed to the Crown's disposal, where the Queen Mother wore them with reverence. Her appearance in Paris in 1938 was particularly memorable when the brooches became symbols of British dignity before coming trials. However, for Queen Elizabeth II, these historical treasures proved practically unwearable. Their imposing size created balance problems. The brooches were so massive, their weight deformed dress fabrics. Moreover, their Victorian aesthetics poorly matched the 20th century's more streamlined style. The Queen attempted several ways to use these brooches. Sometimes she used them to secure order ribbons, occasionally as hair elements instead of tiaras. Yet each such experiment only emphasized how much these ornaments belonged to another era. The brooches found true revival only in 2018 when the Queen gave 3 of them to Princess Eugenie for her wedding ceremony. The young princess managed to integrate the historical ornaments into a contemporary bridal image, proving that sometimes jewelry simply needs to wait for its time and its owner. Alongside the size problem existed an opposite dilemma. Some pieces seemed too modest for royal grandeur. The pear-shaped diamond drop earrings suffered from precisely this delicate problem. 2 luminescent drops suspended from smaller diamonds embodied classical beauty in its purest form, yet against more dramatic coronation earrings, their elegant proportions were lost. These earrings' history began with their debut in 1968 at the Lord Mountbatten film premiere. After this brief appearance, they practically vanished from the royal repertoire, seeming to dissolve in the collection's brighter pieces' radiance. The earrings gained true fame through Princess Diana, who in 1983 demonstrated their potential. First combined with the Spencer tiara and polka dot Catherine Walker dress in Auckland, then with Queen Mary's lover's knot tiara, the Princess of Wales showed how delicate ornaments could perfectly complement youthful beauty. After these triumphant outings, the earrings again disappeared from view, remaining only as memories of when youth and freshness could revive even the collection's most modest treasures. The final disappointment came from a legacy the Queen's mother adored, but seemed too eccentric for her daughter's restrained taste. In royal jewelry history, rarely do pieces exist capable of dramatically changing their appearance depending on their owner's imagination. Queen Mother's Cartier bandeau became precisely such a transformer. 5 elegant Art Deco bracelets that could become a daring tiara choker, embodying the roaring 20s spirit. Each bracelet represented the highest jewelry mastery of the Art Deco era. Geometric diamond patterns created rhythmic compositions where every line was calculated with mathematical precision. Platinum settings allowed stones to play with light with special intensity, creating continuous shimmer effects. The Duke of York, future King George VI, giving these bracelets to his bride between 1923 and 1925, hardly anticipated what revolution they would create in royal style. Elizabeth Bowes Lyon, who became Queen Mother, possessed remarkable style sense and boldness to experiment with traditional forms. She transformed everyday bracelets into an extravagant tiara that became a symbol of royal fashion's new era. In portraits, ballet galas, and state receptions, The Queen Mother demonstrated how to combine tradition loyalty with fashionable innovation. However, for Queen Elizabeth II, this legacy proved too avant-garde. Her Majesty never favored bracelets or massive wrist ornaments. Her style gravitated toward more restrained elegance forms. While her mother gladly wore all 5 bracelets simultaneously, creating dazzling compositions, the daughter preferred limiting herself to 1 or 2 pieces, regarding transforming bracelets into the bandeau tiara. The Queen's preferences were even more definitive. This headpiece seemed excessively theatrical to her, too reminiscent of the restless jazz and Charleston era. For a monarch who saw her mission as creating an image of stability and continuity, such experiments were unacceptable. Throughout her reign, Queen Elizabeth II wore the bandeau only a few times, and each appearance looked more like tribute to her mother's memory than expression of personal preferences. Her natural grace seemed to resist this ornament's drama. The Cartier set's true revival began with Camilla, Queen Consort's arrival in the royal family. A woman who always distinguished herself through style individuality found a contemporary interpretation of this historical legacy. At Shakespeare celebrations in 2024, Queen Camilla demonstrated how Art Deco bracelets could organically fit into contemporary royal imagery. Her appearance became a symbolic act. Jewelry that seemed forever lost to the royal wardrobe again shone in spotlight rays. This metamorphosis reflects a deeper truth about royal style's nature. Each monarch generation brings something personal to tradition, reinterpreting ancestral legacy through modernity's lens. What seemed unsuitable to one era might become the perfect expression of the next. Today, looking back at 7 pieces that didn't capture Queen Elizabeth II's heart, we understand. The monarch's refusal wasn't capriciousness, but deep understanding that true style tolerates no compromise. Each gem should not merely decorate, but reflect its owner's inner essence. Perhaps this contains royal style's main lesson: knowing how to say no, even to the most beautiful things, if they don't match your vision of perfection. For true elegance isn't born from jewelry abundance, but from wise selection of those few pieces capable of telling the genuine story about the person wearing them.